This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with a save. To the second here. A classic counter-attack, and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's one. 1-0 Forest. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Hello, welcome back to Red Side of the Trent as we reflect on Forest's 3-1 defeat to Leeds United at Elland Road, leaving Forest still 6 points clear, with West Ham having a game in hand heading to Turf Moor today in a vital 6-pointer for themselves. Joined by Christian Brown, Reece Coy and Reece Lane. I'm going to refer to whichever Reece I'm speaking to with their last name, so hopefully that will clear up some sort of confusion. Christian, first of all, how are you? How was your journey? Tell us about you getting the team news, obviously pre-match, because you said it was quite unusual.
Yeah, not too bad. Tired. I got back in at 2:30. But thankfully, to be fair, the way out was quite all right. I say quite all right. I've got back from Forest games at the City Ground at 2:30 before. So we parked like an Asda about a mile away from the ground or so, and it was just straight on the road and up the road, a motorway. So we were in football traffic for maybe like all of 10 minutes. So we actually got away quite neatly, which is quite nice. But yeah, so it was a 4-hour drive back, which was lovely to stew on after that performance, if you want to put that in inverted commas. But yeah, what you're into. So at about 6:40, I think all signal in the ground just went pretty much. Like there was no chance, especially my iPhone 13, which still has like barely gets 4G at the best of times. So I didn't know what the team was. So obviously the team came out 5 minutes. I was like, I don't know who's playing. I was like, I was wait for the TV. Anyway, I saw one of the runners. I'm guessing from Sky. It was just sprinting to all the camera points near where we were with like this batch of paper, which was obviously, so I assumed it's a team sheet. When I had a look, and it was. I was like, "Oh, can I just have a look at the team?" And he went, "No, it's fine, mate. I've got plenty spare. You can have one." So I've got a official team sheet from last night, and that's how I found out the absolute debacle that I was set to face with, having travelled all that way for it. But yeah, so I've got a little memento that I'm sure might be worth something to, I don't know, Zach Abbott's family for his first start. Who knows? But
well, I mean, I think you'd want to forget about it, to be honest. Reece Coy, how are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. It's nice to have your weekend ruined before it even started.
I mean, we didn't watch the game much for last night. We saw your brother's arms a lot.
We watched the back of my brother's head screaming at the TV, stood in front of it, yeah, and then we sort of heard the commentary, really. It was better off listening on the radio, to be fair. But now I'm all right, all things considered, mate. Thank you.
And Reece Lane, are you well?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You? Just to rub it into Christian, I got back at midnight, so yeah.
Well, you got to witness Danny Tring Senior and Andy Tring on TalkSPORT live, didn't you?
I did, yeah, very fun. I think he's even got a clip anti on the actual TalkSPORT page, so yeah, fair play.
Yeah, I mean, his monologue was brilliant. I mean, he finishes it off with, "My head's going to fall off," and I think that's how we're probably we're all feeling this morning, to be honest. But let's get right into it. Obviously, Christian receiving the team sheet. I mean, in the form of a piece of paper. I mean, boo Sky for killing the environment and all that sort of stuff. Maybe I should have WhatsApped that all around. But no, what did you think of that? I mean, Sean Dyche's comments pre-match anyway was quite damning because he contradicted himself massively in his team selection. I thought, I mean, young Zach Abbott gets his first start in the Premier League at right back, not his position. We all know that. Dominguez at right wing, no Murillo, no left back. Stefan Ortega gets the first start. And I mean, I think a lot of Forest fans and would have thought it was going to be a poor night before the ball was even kicked, personally.
yeah, you're not wrong. It's a joke. It was an absolute joke. Let's just have it right. I mean, to be honest, the writing on the wall for me was the Europa League announcement, which saw Cunha go in the squad instead of Nets. And, you know, I like Jair Cunha a lot. I think from the very limited minutes we've seen of him, I think he looks quite a promising centre half. To be fair, he looks all right. He came with a fair bit of potential as well. Obviously, we all saw that game against PSG where he played very well in. And you could very strongly argue he's probably been very unlucky not to have more opportunities. I suspect that if Murillo is injured, he'll be the first one storming into Dyche's office today, saying you're starting me on Wednesday. I'm sure we'll come on to that in due course. But when I saw Nets wasn't included in the Europa League team, I thought there's no way he's going to play it today. He'll throw Abbott in, he'll play Murillo at left back, he'll do something like that, because in that we're going to get another Jake O'Brien at Everton situation where he's coming from abroad and Dyche doesn't value it or doesn't care for it, doesn't understand it, and think, no, he hasn't done the hard yards in England yet, therefore he can't be trusted. And I'm going to go with what I know instead, which is laughable in its own right, because you've got someone here who played 90 minutes last week, was fully fit, 100 Bundesliga appearances before the age of 22, and natural left-footed left-back option. No, I'm not going to play you. Sorry. I'm going to play a centre-back kid at right-back instead into an absolute cauldron in a must-win or must-not-lose game, a 6-pointer, and go, off you go, son. This is what men are made of. This is what I do in my day. It's archaic dinosaur tactics, and he got exactly what he deserved. I actually fell for Abbott. I don't want to crucify him or anything like that. I actually felt sorry for him because, in the first half, I didn't think he was too bad. Dominguez took the bullet for him instead because Dominguez was dropping in so deep to try and cover him and try and help him out, and just got absolutely rinsed. And in the second half, he just got cooked. He got absolutely cooked, Abbott, and it's no fault of his own. He isn't a right back. I know we'll say, oh, but Nuno threw him in at Wembley, and that was a needs must occasion. We had no other choice. There was no one else, so he had to play. He didn't have to play last night. There was no gun to Dyche's head saying you have to play an inexperienced child at right back, and in a very important game, no one had to do that. It's entirely on him. And of course, lo and behold, come full time, does he acknowledge his mistakes? No, he just says that the team outfought and outplayed us, so he just throws him under the bus instead. He's a diabolical manager. The buck stops with him, and the team. Just says it up. What a joke! What an absolute joke! I'm pretty sure most of us were feeling the same way. To be honest, we saw that. We all saw that. Just thought, oh god, no Savona on the bench as well, because obviously he's injured, below there, because again, I remember I've heard some people say that Abbott was a better shout at right back. Well, that argument's died a very painful death last night because he's not in the same league as Savona as a right back. I'm sorry, he's not. And I'm just looking at the team now. I cannot believe he's come to that conclusion. I really cannot believe he's gone to in a crucial game. He's gone, yeah, this is what I'm going to set out with. He absolutely deserves everything he gets and more, because I'm fed up of him deflecting onto others rather than taking blame for himself. He is an absolute joke of a manager. Absolute joke of a manager.
You're on mute, Adam.
I am on. Bloody hell! I'm trying to be professional here while Christian's talking. Reece 2.0. How did you think the setup was? Because I just thought at the start, there must have been about 10, 15 minutes before we actually started to get a foothold in the game. And even then, I didn't think we showed any patterns of play. I didn't think we showed any penetration of anything. I just thought it was, I don't know, a little bit lucky at times, in all honesty, because I just thought that Leeds were there to be got at, and we didn't punish them at all, really, or go at them.
Well, we all say it, everyone knows it. Silence Elland Road as quick as possible. You don't give them 97% possession for the first 15 minutes and expect them not to come up with chances. I think Mason said it as well. It was leading up to them scoring for a long time, just before Dominguez's chance, we were growing to the game. But the Palace game started the same. It started identical to this. You're just letting them have all the possession. You sat in, you're solid, but then you get the ball and you're just turning. They're just turning it into corners, and the ball's coming straight back. And it's just set up to failure straight away. So I've seen it. Okay, it might be the occasion, but no, it's beyond that. We set up the same every game, whether it's personnel. We sit in, we let the team develop a momentum, control the game, and then we try and disrupt their game once they're in the flow of it. That's not the way you play football. You needed to start on the front foot last night, get in the face. Wolves will come to us on Wednesday night and they will not play like that. They will not do that. They will not allow us in the first 15 minutes to get a foothold in the game. That is the first thing any away manager says, is you do not let this team get momentum. You do not let their fans get behind them. You do not let them get any control. We go in and we disrupt, but we disrupt by playing football, and we did not do any of that in the first 15 minutes. And that then you've set up to fail because you've lost a third of the half, and then you've got to try and grow into the game and live on individual moments of brilliance like we did at Brentford, and you're just setting yourself up completely for a fall. Once again, to reiterate Christian's point, once you put a touch and hook it right back in there, it's once again, it's not Abbott's fault, but he's a centre half at right back. He's sticking to the basics. He's touching, he's hooking, he's turning the ball over. You've got Jesus with no one around him for 40 yards. Ball's coming back. What on earth do you think is going to happen? And we can see that. And between us, there's probably not even 5% of a coaching badge between us, with the greatest of respect. We can see that. We can all see it. We love our football. We know our football. You know patterns of play. Whether it's Cooper, Ange, Nuno, you know there's a style there. And it begrudges me to say, even with Ange, we didn't like it. It wasn't successful. But you looked at Daesh, and that was just footballers going through the motions. And that was the pattern that was set out in the first 15 minutes for me.
I mean, just before I come to Reece Lane about the first goal, I mean, we had a period of time where we had quite a flurry of corners. I mean, we all wax lyrical, especially myself. I feel like I'm the head chief of the Elliot Anderson fan club, but he can't take a corner to save his life. I mean, how can we quote Man United and Man City and whoever else is interested for a player for between 80 and 100 million? He can't take a dead ball. He can't put it on even like in the 6-yard box, in the 18-yard box. It goes over everyone's head every single time, and I can't explain why. And I can't understand why someone else has not gone, Elliot, you've been absolutely abysmal at them. I'm having this one.
Well, that's the point I was going to make. It bleeds into a greater point of responsibility and accountability. It's someone's not going to go in there and go, look, Elliot, for all you've done, let me have this one. Or even him to have the humility to drop his ego as a professional footballer to say, look, I'm having one here. I mean, I took corners at Dog and Duck FC. I did 2 or 3 bad ones and someone else was on one. It's that simple. It is that simple. And once again, if that's not coming from on the field, then you've got 3 blokes, okay, in the dugout. One of them needs to be instructing something. I mean, Steve Stone stood there with an AirPod in for the past God knows how many games. I don't know what he's listening to or who he's talking to, but there's got to be something from somewhere, whether it's a tactician, an analyst, or someone somewhere where you're just rinse and repeat in the same corner. And I'm the biggest Anderson advocate, but at £80 million and you can't cross a ball from a set piece is absolutely sacrilege when we've got, let's face it, we've got absolute monsters. We've got big boys in our team, and it's all part of Dyche's mantra and plan. Whether he said he's trying to sort of relay a narrative that he isn't this way, but he is. He's got big boys on the pitch, and it either hits the first man or bounces out for a throw in. It's absolute. It's sacrilege. It's basics of football.
Yeah. I mean, Reece Lane, we after that flurry, Leeds grew into it again and got back that control. I mean, Calvert-Lewin hits the bar from a corner, I think it is, or a cross, I can't remember. But then
scored.
Yeah, and then they do score. I mean, a straight ball straight over the top, and I don't know how no one's seen Jayden Bogle run 50 yards from right wing back to not track him. And then for me, I think Ortega's got to come and claim, do something, be closer to him at least. I just thought it was so easy. I mean, you lot in the away end must have been, your heads must have all been rolling off.
Yeah, because you're literally messaging people like, is that offside? Because it's just barely believable how easy it was. It reminded me of the first season back at Everton away when clip ball over at top from Sir Jordan, Demarai Gray onto it, rolled it in, and you're thinking to yourself, how easy is that? That's like something you'd probably not want to see at Sunday League level. Do you know what I mean? So I must say on the corners as well, like there was one which summed it up where everyone ran to the near post and he whipped it to the back post. And it just went straight out for a goal kick. I'm like, are we on the same page or what here? Surely they must have watched last week when Cardano flapped one in against Arsenal. So why are they not putting it on the keeper, the corners, or into the 6-yard box? It's a relegation battle. Put them under pressure when we had that bit of a flurry, because we did have a bit of a flurry. Dominguez was unlucky, good save from Darlow. Jesus should have scored with the header at the back post.
Yeah, he should have.
You know, that's kind of your Taro at Leicester moment from the first season, isn't it? Where he hit the post that day at 0-0. You're thinking, if we get ahead here, like Reece said, crowd goes silent. It's a different game. Braga similar, but we didn't take his chances, and then we concede such a sloppy goal. I mean, a clip ball over the top to someone who I think we're all saying he's a championship standard right back, a good championship right back, give him his due, but he just had the freedom of Leeds, didn't he? And then, to be fair to Ortega, I thought he should have come out as well, and I think he should have come out, but I think he was expecting the ball to skid off the surface a bit quicker, and the pitch was very heavy last night. It was cutting up. Christian will know this, but being at the game. And I think he's just got caught in two minds there, and it's left him in a bit of no man's land, and it's allowed Bogle to get his shot off. And so it's just a catalogue of errors, mate, from the defence and the keeper as well. You know, I know you've got fans saying about the defence, but I agree with the guys, what they said. That defence selection was criminal last night. Absolutely criminal. And there's no defending it. And if you get fans saying, oh, what should we have played? It should have been Aina at right back in his position, what he's the best at. Milenkovic at centre half. So you've got that right side solid. We know that. Kuna should have come in to deal with Calvert-Lewin's height. It was no surprise to me that he should have scored with a header. And left back should have been the left back, what we've signed from the Bundesliga. Over 100 games, played 90 minutes last week. He was a natural left footer. There was no other choice. So I do not know why the manager has decided to change the whole back four pretty much in terms of changes what he didn't need to make in such a big game. And once we saw that team, I think every fan would have thought, oh, bloody hell, that defence looks ropey. Because Morato, you know, most of the time he's okay, but he's got a mistake in him, mate. And you just can't trust him, I think is the phrase I'd use. And yeah, as soon as they went 1-0 up, the crowd, the tails are up, the crowd gets up. We know what it's like at Elland Road under the lights. It's going to be a tough night for you. And we just fell to pieces again. And so when I look at the fact in less than 2 weeks' time, we're going to an absolute cauldron in Istanbul. And if you think we're going to go there and be resolute when you're watching on that performance last night and you're watching that, you just daft into just daft thinking because we just completely rolled over again against a side who are the next team up. And like even from the attacking selection, that right side is not going to cause Leeds any issues last night attacking wise.
Oh no, Goodmanson had a fag on. So did Okafor.
So, you know, you play that back four, what I said, you two in your middle, pick himself, two and out wingers, give them something to think about. You know, we're not going to Arsenal away here. We're going to the side who the next team above us where we want a result, where the fans are demanding a result because they're the next side above us. We could have gone above Leeds last night, as we could have gone above Fulham a couple of months ago. And unfortunately, you know, Dyche does well in steadying ships. He cannot push on. And it's twice now he's proved it. He can't. And again, fans will say about last week, he was vastly unlucky with Nico handling the ball. I agree. But what was the root cause of that problem? A free header from a set piece. Or it wouldn't have happened, would it, when we're in control of the game? And we all said we want a minimum of 6-7 points from these games. Well, the maximum we can get now is 4. And, you know, it's just not acceptable again last night, the performance, because there was points in the game where Leeds, who you look at that side last night, no disrespect to Leeds as much as I want to disrespect them because I don't like them, a lot of championship players in that team, and they were running rings around Forest because they wanted it more.
Yeah.
And, you know, in football, if you want it more, you usually get results.
Yeah, I mean, I still can't fathom how they thought about sacking Daniel Farke before the start of the season.
He turned it around. He's done a great job, to be fair to him.
Yeah,
I'll give him his due.
Yeah, since half time at Man City, turned it right around. Christian, 1 became 2 very quickly, and we know that's the Forest of, I don't know, past and present, to be fair, in some cases. And I mean, Reece touched on Morato. He got beat so easily, and then Ortega parries it with his chest. I don't know why he's not parried it with his hands or whatever. I don't know if the ball's come that fast at him or whatever. But then it's another cutback, and Okafor has an open goal, and I think that was game set and done really for us because we just knew Dyche doesn't have it in his locker to be proactive. He's not even reactive, to be honest. So you know, we knew that it was game done. We know Forest don't come back from 2 goals down. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because at 2-0, I still thought there was a chance. I still thought, and to be honest, we saw it when it went to 3. When we got one back, like the crowd suddenly went, it was like mini nerves. I think if we got another one like at 5-minute periods, it would have been very, very tense in that stadium because like, even that little spell there, they were like, oh, Christ, Forest are back. But it was too little too late ultimately. But at 2-0, I still wasn't, it's not game over. I wasn't quite as resigned as you were. But it's just poor again. Like, it's so easy for them to cut through. I mean, we mentioned Fark there. I mean, Fark had the, how to say, he swallowed his pride, if you like. He sort of went, look, my system's not working. It didn't work with Norwich. I mean, fair enough. I think much would have worked with that Norwich team, to be fair to him. And he saw, obviously, after that, after we beat him 3-1, things had to change. And he did. He went to a three-at-the-back system, and Leeds since then have looked much more solid. Does that sound familiar, by the way? Going to three-at-the-back and looking more solid and getting results and digging in and fighting for the cause and whatever else. It wasn't a case of being outfought last night. Obviously, we were. We were also outcoached. That's more concerning because we've all freely admit and said it. Farke at best is probably a good championship manager. He'll get you up, but won't keep you up. In the Cameron Jerome League of managers, if you like. But
what a throwback!
Yeah, he's absolutely schooled Dyche last night. Absolutely schooled them. They were running rings around us, and the second goal's epitome of that. I mean, they just cut through us so easily. And yeah, you can take issue with Ortega. To be honest, I think he did well just getting the way of the shot. He sees it quite late. He sort of just he's there. It's unfortunate for him the way it falls. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the last time we were there actually, when Navas sort of spilled one straight into. Was it Sinisterra's path or I can't remember, or Harrison, one of the two?
Jack Harrison.
Harrison, that was it, yeah. But again, I don't have as much issue with that. Yeah, okay, it's an awkward save. You've got 3 defenders there just watching the ball in the box. None of them go to the ball. None of them go to their men. You've got 3 unmarked Leeds players, and lo and behold, one of them's going to score. There's no desire or fight there to try and stop the situation. It's almost like the second that save's back into play, I've gone, oh, again, reactive rather than anything else. It's just poor. It sums up a lot of issues at Forest. But again, no, it's just on a wider point with Dyche. Again, I wasn't that resigned. I thought, okay, look, he'll make some changes at half time. He's normally reactive when it's too late to the point, but no, he didn't. I think that is in itself sackable. I think the fact that no changes are made at half time, that's an absolute disgrace. That's offensive to the fans that gave up their time and money to go to that game last night. I don't say that as someone who went myself either. I'd have said that if I was sat at home watching on Sky or whatever else, because that's an absolute joke. How have you seen every single other Premier League manager in the division? I'll go as far as saying even ones like Steve Keane and John Carver, they all make changes at half time in that situation. But Dyche didn't. He was too stubborn, too arrogant. Again, this is the issue with the club. And then people say, yes, there is a wider point. We know there's a wider point. I'm fed up with people sticking their head in the stand and saying, oh, but he did Clough's gardening once on PG-friendly podcasts and whatever else, and with failed comedians and God knows what else. Let's have it right. He's a disaster of a manager. He's a disaster of a manager. I've said the last 5 games meant nothing. Again, we don't get Dyche activation until we're in a relegation zone or close enough. The only saving grace he's got is that if we beat Wolves on Wednesday, we are probably likely to be level on points with Leeds again, because I don't think they'll get anything out of Chelsea personally. That's the only saving grace he has, the only positive from this he has. However, the cost of that is that West Ham are inevitably going to absolutely batter Burnley later today, and the gap closes. So do we really benefit from that? I'll say it now. In fact, I'll say it very publicly. If we do not get anything on Wednesday and Dyche is still in the job come Thursday morning, I'll be questioning Marinakis' ambitions for this football club. Because at that point, it's not, do I want Forest to be a Premier League club and successful? I don't think it will be if Dyche is still there. If we don't pick up points on Wednesday. He absolutely has to go. Has to go.
Yeah. I mean, lots of strong points. I mean, Reece, I was going to come to you about changes at half time. This is Reece Coy, by the way, because I thought if Abbott was going to start, I made a prediction that whether he was playing well or not, I just thought he'd get dragged off at half time if we were losing, because I just thought, oh, you've upset the balance of the team. He didn't make changes, and then start of the second half, Forest didn't get out of. I think we're stuck in reverse, to be honest, because we've gave the ball away. Elliot Anderson's gave it away needlessly, and then we've not reacted to it. I mean, it's a shot come cross from Gruev, I think it is, from Leeds, and I mean, it's a great finish from Calvert-Lewin. It's instinctive, it's reactive, it's a great striker's goal when he's got in front of Zach Abbott, who's, let's be honest, he's ball watching. And you can't do that in this league. And that's why people have questioned whether he's actually ready for the Premier League, never mind playing out of position. And that's an ex-Derby player who scored passes, an ex-Leicester player who's got an assist, an ex-Sheffield United player who scored passes. And that's like completed the trio of all the teams that we hate. Well, there's a few of them more, but they're the 3 ones that we mainly hate. So, well done.
Yeah, I mean, touching on Christian's point is absolutely bang on the money. That half time, that's the most offensive and sackable part of the whole evening by a country mile. If you walk into that dressing room at half time and you're accepting of the fact that them players are going to go on, and you know what the message will be, we could all call it. You don't have to be a fly on the wall, lads. You've got 5 minutes, sort it out, with a few stronger words in there. But this is a professional standard. This is what you are paid to do. To be a bit Roy Keane, it's your job. That is what you have to do. You have to recognise an issue and then resolve that issue. We're seeing on the Sky cameras at half time, Luca was running his nuts off like he was going to come on at half time. So much so within the first minute, I think, well, we're actually within the first 8 seconds, as Mason gladly pointed out to us, where Ortega kicked it straight out from our kickoff. Luca was already stood up. He's ready to come on. So why hasn't he done it? Get Abbott off the pitch, save him. That third goal doesn't happen, by the way, if Abbott's not on the pitch. It doesn't happen. And what I did myself the disservice of watching it back. He actually checks in front of Calvert-Lewin to allow him to get around the front of him. The complete reverse of what you do as a defender. And that's just a sign of inexperience, someone who doesn't play at right back. You need to be able to see where your man is at all times. And he checks in front of him. Then Calvert-Lewin's got a free run on it. Great finish, can't take it away from him. But that whole period there is I'm trying not to swear here, Adam. I'm really trying my best. It's that just epitomises the footfalls of Dyche as a manager. He's come out and he's clearly not giving them anything to go off. No structure. There's nothing constructive because we come out and started the same way, and that is just absolute. And guess what? We conceded within the first 5 minutes again. It's the same thing, rinse and repeat over and over and over again. I'm just tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. And you've got Reece has made the point. He's gave us the back 4 that should have started, and that was the back 4 that should have ultimately then been put in at half time. Net's left back, Aina right back. Keep your same centre halves. Bring Dominguez off as well. Even go 4-4-2. Put Morgan on the right. Put Luca up top with Igor. I'm not bothered, but he's done none of it. And then it is all entirely on Dyche from that point on, for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's damning, isn't it? It's absolutely damning. I mean, just to round it off, Reece, so before we get into some comments, I know there's loads of people commenting. I know I've not got to any of them, so I will do. And we've got loads of slept on it thoughts to go through off Facebook and Twitter. But I mean, when he did make subs, it were like for like. I mean, we're chasing a game. We've put Lorenzo Luca on for Jesus. We've put Amari on for Dominguez, and yeah, we've gone like for like, and I just didn't understand it. Yates come on for Gibbs White, who looked like he were limping. I don't know if that's just Morgan going, I don't want to play, I don't want to be here, almost, in terms of I don't want to be on the pitch.
One tackle he got brought off.
Obviously Luca
He
come
was
on
Dominguez.
Net's obviously come on at left back and looked steady. He looked like a player that had played a lot of football, to be honest. Looked fit, looked sharp. And then I seen a great
thought that, eh?
I mean, well, you kind of almost took my pun away. So I seen someone put, would you look at that when he's crossed the ball in and he's and the big 6'7" man has headed the ball in the goal. But it was a consolation, which it was too little, too late, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll start from the top. I agree with Christian's point in the sense that at 2-0, I still thought we was in the game, to be honest. I thought we forgot one back. Thought, here we go. Because Leeds aren't, fair play to them, they're in a decent vein of form, but they aren't an amazing side. I always thought if we could get one back, we'd get back into the game. And I just couldn't believe that he didn't change it at half time. That beggared belief for me. I mean, Daniel Farker, I guarantee, would have said to the Leeds players at half time, these are going to change it second half, so be ready. And I guarantee that when Leeds saw the same team we brought out second half, it would have given them a boost. and they scored within 5 minutes, like Reece said, and it's game over then at 3-0. We saw it last week. Chelsea, Liam Rossini, they were dire first half. What did they do at half time? Made 3 changes. They went on and won the game 3-2. Proactive changes rather than reactive. And I just couldn't get my head that he sent the same team out. And yeah, I've got some points down here. I'm just trying to. It would have been the message at half time for us would have been like what Graham Taylor said back in the day. It would have been, you got us into this mess, now you try and get us out of it, when they were set up to fail last night, because they were just like you said, Adam, there's no balance in the side. I just, like Reece said, it would have been obvious to go to that back four, what I said last, at least put your fullbacks, proper fullbacks. So you've got that balance, like you said, Adam. And and then we're seeing, we had Dyche against Wrexham, saying players aren't taking the chances when I'm giving them a chance. He's just talking nonsense, because McAtee's last game, what did he get? Man of the match against Ferencváros. What did he get last night when we're chasing the game? We get a defensive centre mid brought on for as number 10. He gets no minutes again. We had Callum Owendo. I'm sorry to go back to him. He scored 2 goals in his last 2 starts. What was his reward for that? Never getting 5 minutes here and there and being moved on. So what incentive is that giving players to come on and perform when the manager's made your mind upon you? We've seen it with Nets now, and it summed it up, right? That Zach Abbott, bless him, he was cramped up by the 70th minute. He wasn't even warming up. He wasn't even getting him to warm up. And then what he did is that Abbott could barely run in the corner when they were attacking. Then he finally seen, actually, he can't run because he's cramped up. We need to get him on. It's just reactive changes rather than proactive, mate. And it was the selection and the lack of subs at halftime, mate, was just scandalous last night. It cost us the game. That selection cost us, and he had a chance to fix it at halftime slightly. And who knows, we might have gone out second half and it might have been crap as well. Who knows? But he had a chance to fix it. He didn't do it. It was obvious second half that we needed to just go 4-2-3-1, 2 wingers on. Let's get at them. If we can get an early goal second half, like Christian said, the crowd will get nervy. It's a 6 point at the bottom of the league. And instead, we just gave them an incentive by sticking with the same team that wasn't working. And within 5 minutes of the second half, it's game over. And, from then, Leeds have got us at arm length and you're kind of going through the motions, really. And you see him with the goal. Great ball in from Hutchinson, an actual winger on the pitch, gives Goodmanson something to think about. Ball into a great area. Luke is there on the end of it. And, he's got to start Ante on Wednesday. I think we all like Igor Jesus on his podcast, his work rate, his hold-up play. But Luke has not even played a half of Premier League football, and he's already halfway to Jesus' total for the season as your main striker. and that's. I know I don't want to sound horrible, but he's damning into it. It is.
I think that's just.
He's got to play on Wednesday, and we've got to go 2 direct wingers and get at Wolves and put some variation of crosses in for Luca to get on the end of. And we've got to get as well, because he's a big lad. There's going to probably be times when he's going to knock it down. There's going to be a ricochet. We've got to get players in the box, mate. There was one point last night we were chasing the game. I think someone put up a cross in. They had 5 defenders in their box. We had 2 players, and we're chasing the game. And it's like, you're just not going to score many goals from doing that. And it's bordering on a must-win on Wednesday. And I don't want any of this, a point would be an extra point. It's got to be a win. It's got to be a win on Wednesday. There's nothing else to say about Wednesday. It has to be a win.
I generally think if we don't win, it'll be a cauldron of booze. It'll be like Goodison. Honestly, he'll be getting like repetitive.
We've all been going Forest a long time, mate, and we're not fans on this podcast who suddenly turned up since we got promoted. And I've not seen probably. Braga was up there, mate, for toxicity, right up there, and I've seen some bad away ends at Forest when we're struggling in the depths of the Championship and League One. Braga was right up there again last night.
Wrexham half time.
Last night was not good.
Wrexham.
Last night was not good.
Booed off again.
Yeah.
So when you've got the chairman coming out and what's it called, basically these nobodies who make the most noise. Well, these are the away fans who are the soul of the club, who go and travel every week and spend the hard-earned money, like Christian. Probably a 5-hour trip last night, coming one way. and you're getting that from the chairman of the club because they're right. You know, it's just not good enough, and it just Dyche is showing us what he is, and that's a firefighter. Again, like Christian said, we get close to the relegation zone, and he probably has the capability to pull a rabbit out of the hat. But when we have a chance to push on, as we have done in these last few games, it just cannot do it. Just physically incapable of doing it as a collective.
Yeah. Did you want to come in there, Christian?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I had to be sort of like, I think the point for me last night where I really sort of just went, I think what surprised me most, I wasn't even that angry. I think I'm at the sort of apathy stage of it now. But the point where I was like, this is it, this is the line now, was when I saw Gibbs White come over with his armband to give it to Yates. And I thought, you know, I mean, to be honest, and again, I don't know if it sounds like Yates there, bringing Yates on when you're 3-0 down isn't necessarily the best move I want to see anyway, because that doesn't really show any ambition to try and win the game. Yates is a player that you want on when you're winning or when you're positioned, you know, when you see something out, not when you're, you know, 3-0 down and wanting to get something back into it, because it's not a skill set. It just isn't. It isn't. Unfortunately, it just isn't. He's not that kind of player. When I saw he was replacing Gibbs White, I lost my head. I was like, "Is this a joke? Is that actually a joke?" Because at that point, we've stopped trying to win the game. For me, we've got a manager in dugout who's going, "No, we'll take 3-0.
Yeah, damage limitation.
Yeah, we're damage limitation. No, we're not trying to win the game anymore. We're happy with a 3-0 loss. A manager of Nottingham Forest Football Club happy with a 3-0 loss. I can't believe I'm even saying those words. But again, it came back to West Ham. West Ham away was exactly the same. Like until we got that penalty at the end where Areola basically punched Gibbs White's head off into Mars. Until that happens, there's only one person from a Forest collective that was happy with a point, and that was Sean Dyche. No one knew where the end was. And you're right about toxicity. At West Ham, it was toxic before we won. Last night, no Mulligan-Tyre at half time. No, it was like, you know, it was almost like they were making their point by being silent. Like, it was like, well, we don't deserve our support. We're here, but you don't deserve it. And you know that ultimately comes down to the manager. There's no connection there at all. I mean, I know some people say, "Oh, you know," but he was a local lad and whatever else. Stoneham won't earn a clap when they come out for the warm up because of what he did for us in the 90s. That's it. That's as far as it goes. Dyche doesn't deserve anything from us. He doesn't. We don't owe him anything. And yeah, you can say, yeah, he said the ship half the range. Yeah, good for him. Great. I'd argue most people. I saw someone say actually last night that this is probably, at least certainly in our lifetimes, the biggest collection of individually quality players we have at this football club at any one given point. Is if you look at the individuals you got, like for example, McAtee, for example, whatever else. I cannot believe McAtee last night. I mean, I cannot believe it. Like, you know, like Ray said, it's exactly the same with Kane Mwendo. Exactly the same. This is why I won't hear like anything different about him, because it's the same thing. Oh, the hard yards and nuts and bolts. Even when you prove yourself, you're not getting a look in. If you're going to take Gibbs White off last night, I can accept it if you're bringing on another attacking player to try and get something out of the game. If McAtee comes on then, I think we all go, okay, fine. You know, maybe it's not been Gibbs White's night tonight. Personally, I didn't think it was as bad as he could have been, but fine. At least we're still trying to get something out of the game. By bringing on a defensive-minded player, you're not only telling us you're done with the game, you're telling your own players that you're done with the game as well. It sets a negative precedent from the get-go. But that's what he is, negative. And again, I'll say it again. I honestly, if we don't win, if we don't collect anything other than 3 points on Wednesday, and to be honest, even if we do collect 3 points on Wednesday, I don't think his position's safe. If we don't win on Wednesday, his position is absolutely untenable, and he will never work in top-flight English football ever again, because he's shown exactly what his true colours are, just in record time. At Everton, he got masked with the points deduction, he got masked with everything else, and all the off-field turmoil, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't have that here. He has a squad that's in the Europa League knockouts that probably should have gone through top 8, really, barring a missed penalty on at least one other game. He's got fans that several away games now have started to get, they've started to get angry. That'll seep through into the home games. If we don't win on Wednesday night, that place will be as toxic as anywhere in the country.
Yeah, I mean, Reece Coy, do you have anything to add to all this before we look at the comments?
I think the main thing is Christian's bang on once again. I think respect's got to be earned by success. It isn't given to you. It's not granted to you just because you've walked down the banks of the Trent with Cloughie once and played in the under-16s. There's more to it than that. And for me, it is just, well, we're all sort of repeating ourselves in a roundabout way. This is telling for me is that I'm sort of the top tier, if you like, below a season ticket. And I don't want to give this club my money at the moment. I don't want to go. And that's just me being honest, and people can lambast me for it all they like. I love and live and breathe this club. I love football, and I don't want to go. At the moment, I do not want to go. And that's it's got to be through the higher ups. It's got to be from Marinakis, it's from Dyche, it's from everyone at the club, and they really need now to hold a mirror up to themselves and look at it. I keep seeing the splits on X between the players need to take accountability. No, this is a squad game. When teams win the league, the kit man's there, the chef, everyone. This is a collective. This isn't it's Dyche's fault. It's just the players' fault. This is everybody from the bottom to the top, and something needs to drastically change within this club, because what we are doing, we are sleepwalking. We jumped 2 years. We jumped 2 years last season. We jumped ahead. We should have finished mid-table. We got Europe. We are now sleepwalking to setting ourselves back 3 or 4 seasons, and I don't think that's dramatic. You're going to lose your best central midfielder, possibly Morgan as well, possibly Murillo as well. You've got to find replacements for them. You've got to balance PSR with the books on that. You've got to get guys in who are going to fit the mould. All now with, at present, this manager who doesn't trust new signings. So where on earth are them replacements going to come from? And it is a huge concern. But read the comments, mate, because I think my head's gone well beyond Mars. I think it's so now,
I think your comment about not wanting to go, I almost echo, because the club are demanding 40 to 60, maybe even £70 a game. It's not value for money as a consumer. Well, never mind a supporter. That's not value for like I'm not going to pay 70 quid to watch absolute dismal football. I could go watch that at bloody Hucknall Town if I want, not Nabs Lane. Never mind. Hucknall Town probably play better football. I'll go Nabs Lane and watch what I see on the Saturday at City Ground.
It's no surprise as well that when them ticket prices came out for Fenerbahce, the cheapest was 50 quid, so I paid 50 quid. And I totally get your guys' point as well. When you obviously having to pay, on the gate, as you used to say, isn't it? You want value for money, and it's a lot of money. That's just for your ticket. That's not even for, your food, if you want a drink, your parking, etc., your petrol to get to the game or your travel. And it's no surprise to me that, we've got a group of fans in the trust who said nothing on radio silence on social media. But they've got a nice little meeting with Nick Randall, and we've got to ask a few, questions.
Pre-approved questions.
But then
get free coffee from the club.
Apparently they represent the fans, and where's the post? Where's the post on this when fans are getting ripped off again? Because Ferencváros couldn't even sell out. We've got apparently the club telling us we've got 12,000 people on the waiting list. That's 42,000 fans. We couldn't even sell out a European tie because of the prices. But there's nothing said about that. The only ones who seem to want to stand up for the fans are Forza. And when we've got a trust, but they got a nice little meeting with Randall, didn't they? And they can nod their heads while he slags the fans off.
That's it. Just going to do a shout out to our sponsors. We've got TrentSideFreds.co.uk. Use RSOT for 10% off. I've got my Ola Reiner t-shirt on, although I think every time Ola Reiner's got cornrows in, he plays awful. Honestly, I don't know what it is. Get your hair back out, Ola. You'll play a lot better. But there are loads of stuff on there. Do check them out. Use our code RSOT with 2 T's for 10% off. And then we also have Vesta Blinds. So stylish, high quality, made to measure blinds and shutters at a great price. Give your home the perfect finishing touch with stunning, expertly fitted window coverings from Vesta Blinds. That's vestablinds.com. Please do check them out. Thank you very much for sponsoring the pod. Just going to go through some comments. I mean, there's absolutely loads. So I'll just try and whiz through a few. Tom Newton, as professional coach any professional coach worth his salt, knew that playing a young kid who is centre back at right back, our best right back at left back, and keeping 100 plus Bundesliga appearance holder on the bench was unforgivable. Pat Brett, as soon as the back five, I knew where that was going. Binnett, what do Stone and Won't actually do for this team? Jess, as an Everton fan, I feel sorry for your club that has been associated with Dinosaur Dyche. AJ, this group don't have enough to pull properly clear of the relegation zone. It's going to be a last day, which is Bournemouth at home, which always goes well. Who else? Red Stag, 45 years of watching Forest. I've never felt more disconnected. If he's manager next season, I won't be going. Anthony Rowe on X. Deitch said Nets wasn't ready, but played Ortega. Needs to take responsibility for his stupid decisions. Danny Tring, morning all. Feel sorry for Reece. He didn't even get to have the best fish and chips I've had for a long time.
Right, sorry, can I just jump in there very quickly? Danny is bang on. That fish and chip shop was elite. Like, Reece, you missed out big there. It's gravy, right by the ground. Top tier, honestly.
Listen, because I like exposing Mythbusters, but I actually finished off Danny's better half fish and chips. I did actually get to sample it with curry sauce. I do prefer gravy personally, but we will take both. So I did get to sample a bit. But I'll tell you why it was, because I seen the price, 12 quid for fish and chips.
I know. But
I thought we was in Leeds, not in, Kensington. I was like, I'm not paying that. And this is from someone who will happily chuck a tenner on an accumulator today.
12,
I'm very much. Sorry.
12 quid by the seaside you'd pay though, or that'd be good.
Yeah, well,
I'm very much. Matlock always has good chip shops, don't they?
I'm very much in the same way. Reece is very pro La Story. I'm very much pro West Bridgeford Chiffy, but I must say that was very, very good last night. All I'm saying, and that'll be my final contribution. Or even
how is this the highlight of our pod?
It was a highlight of my day. That was
that's sort of hide you, mate. They had the West Bridgeford Chippy. You don't get that with La Story. Yeah,
it's back up now. No. See you later.
See you later, Christian. Dan, the one defence I will give Dyche is that look at Morato for the second goal. Tarkovsky, Keane, Branthwaite, Buster Cut to get back in and get a block in. He walks, no desire to do the hard yards, as he says. At Brett, it's more than just Abbott. The whole back five plus Dominguez were atrocious. I mean, God, there's absolutely loads. So I'm sorry if I miss out. There's obviously a lot of people repeating. Thomas, yesterday was almost like watching Bodo Glimt play Man City off the park. That game could have easily been 6-1 to Glimt, and Leeds could have won 6-1 as well. So, thank you very much for everyone that's got involved. Just really hard to get through them all. So we'll get on to people's slept on it thoughts.
Red side of the Trent. Slept on it thoughts.
I'm going to start off on Facebook. So we've got Rick Hall should have played left back at left back and left Abbott with the academy. Will Gadd, quick reflection. How was it? Expletive, and that's all, folks. Ben Pilgrim, very disappointing. As soon as I saw a team, I wasn't confident. Marato, he's a liability. I prefer Cunha, and I'd have played Nets at left back, Hutch on the right, and the big man up front. Subs were way too late, you Reds. Rob Hales, shambles, feel sorry for Abbott, out of position, difficult, needs to get back to the B team for a spell. Nigel Grimshaw, poor team selection, poor young centre back at right, at full back was a disgrace, not Abbott's fault, but should have never put him in that position, selected the team to fail, and it did. Steve Ward, honestly, 3 of our regular back 5 were out, our makeshift was wide open. In hindsight, Nets should have played, Abbott was too inexperienced and out of position. We had a goalkeeper who didn't know his teammates. We'll probably have the back 5 soon and start winning again. We're inconsistent, but have won a third of our games under Dyche. If that continues, we'll finish on 38 points. West Ham need to earn 18, the equivalent of 6 wins in 14 to finish above us. I'm an optimist, but surely even the pessimists among us must see that's unlikely. Who else? Steve Townsend, Abbott not good enough. Steve Hemsley turned off for the third, embarrassing. Paul Chance, why? Do keep the faith and keep the moaners away. Only good thing we did go down. Only good thing if we go down is we'd never see them again until they want cup final tickets. Deepak, can't watch Dyche until the end of the season. Luke Fleming, nothing new, disappointing most weeks. So sorry if I can't get through them all. There's absolutely loads. And then on Twitter, Forest fan family, awful. What a way to start the weekend. We are hopeless without our back 4 in place, made worse without an attacking game plan, depressing. Slept on it though, and I felt sorry for Luke getting his first goal and no one caring. He was a glimmer of hope. Josh Potts, 2-0 down at half time, still in it. He decides not to make a sub. When he does finally make a sub, we needed it's not till the 75th minute. He's thrown young Abbott under the bus there. Let's pray we survive this season and bring in someone better in the summer. Johnny Ancliffe woke up this morning feeling worse than last night. Dyche takes us down and Nuno gets the last laugh over Marinakis. It's written in the stars and we probably deserve it. Not as fans, not very worried. Lewis Morris can't even be asked putting it down into words. It's just all speaks for itself. Week in and week out, he sets it up like this. Sick as a dross we're getting delivered. To make no changes at half time when he's clearly got it wrong is actually criminal. Get the stupid prick out. 55. We are not a squad up for a relegation dogfight. Too many players confident they'll move on to better things in the summer. I wanted to believe in Dyche, but he seems completely out of his depth with this squad. Certainly relegation incoming if we fail to win it against Wolves. Right, my voice is going, so I'm going to let one of you lot talk. Reece 2.0. I mean, where do we go from here on Wednesday? Because it's an absolute monstrous game.
We'll start by not having 30% of our outfield in the wrong position. That'd be a good start, wouldn't it? I think probably square pegs and square holes is probably a good place to start. Not playing a bloke with one shoulder on one wing would also be a decent start as well. Completely back to basics. Back to basics. Now isn't the time to tinker and change formation and go to a 3 or whatever he wants to do. I think he's got to really, really look at it now and just go 4-2-3-1, Hutch one side, possibly Undor the other, Morgan in the 10, Sangari Anderson, Williams comes back in, Aina right, possibly Gier with Morato, with Milenkovic, sorry, and then put Luca up top and just go from there and see what it does and just hope and pray that we've got enough fight to see us through until the end. Because Wolves have picked up. Wolves have been okay of late. They don't get battered. So we've got to really, really be on top form to beat them. I know 8 points is 8 points, but let's put it this way: if they do beat us, the silver lining is the closer to Derby's points tally. So over the cloud, eh? But I'm not very confident at all for Wednesday night, and I just think it's got to be back to basics, and we've just got to hope and pray that someone takes the game by the scruff of the neck, which I haven't seen now for a long time. Not in a Premier League capacity anyway. It's all right coming on at Wrexham and grabbing the game by the balls and trying to drag your team out and look at us. I'm a Premier League player, but on the big stage, you need your captain. You need that armband means is going to weigh heavy on Morgan. He needs to step up. Anderson needs to prove his worth, and all of them to a man have got to give us something to get behind. They've got to give us something to support.
Yeah. I mean, I thought last week against Palace, the 10 men, I thought we saw that. And I thought we saw a bit of a turning corner. And then we got served that up last night. I'm just going to say thank you to Binnett. He's donated $4.99. Good therapy session, guys. Thanks. Wolves will be make or break. 3 points and nothing less. Reece and Christian and Reece, you'll all get your share in the post. I mean, Reece, have you got anything to add to that? Because it's it could be like Christian said, it could be the most toxic place in the country on Wednesday. I mean, or it could be papering over the cracks, I guess, if we do win.
Well, let's hope it's not toxic, because we want to win the game, and if it does paper over the cracks and we win the game, then we need to win the game, don't we? It's just the way it goes. We just need points on the board. So, but like Reece says, give the fans something to shout about, and that starts with the selection, mate. Selection's got to be right on Wednesday. No messing about. 4-2-3-1. If Sal's isn't fit, obviously Ortega plays in goal. Aina, Milenkovic. If Murillo ain't fit, I'd bring Jaikuna in. Williams is back at left back. 3 of that 4 of the defenders should be as non-negotiable. And then obviously Anderson, Sangai, middle. 3 in front's interesting because, Callum was poor last night, but, is he injured? Is he carrying a knock? And then you don't seem to fancy Bakker. Was he even on the bench last night, Bakker?
No.
So you clearly don't fancy him. Indoy, he's just, at the minute, just not looking up to it. So it wouldn't... So Hudson-Odoi will probably start, mate, half fit. And Hutchinson's got to start as well. Start him. I would like to see McAtee at some point, but his best game was without Gibbs-White, where it allowed him to cut inside, because we have said he isn't a winger. So could you play him on the right with Gibbs-White? Probably not. And then it's got to be Luca up top. So, I don't want any of this negative setup. We've got to have a go at Wolves. The bottom of the league, we're at home. put a stall out early on and, get the fans behind the team, because it's always been the same English football, and I'm tired of repeating it. What you see on the pitch is what makes the fans engage. It's not like foreign football where it's just a drone of noise all game and you've got someone on a megaphone geeing the fans up. It's just not like that. We react to the game. So you've got to give the fans something to shout about. But yeah, it's bordering on a must win, and we've got to win that game on Wednesday. There's just no excuses if we don't.
I tell you what would be helpful, actually, if we put Wolves in an Arsenal kit. If you put them in the top 6 kit, the lads will turn up. That's what this season's showing at the moment, is big occasions, big games against better teams where you're not expected to do something. Pressure's off, they turn up. So let's stick them in an Arsenal kit and see what happens.
I mean, Pat Brett says I'll be more optimistic against Liverpool than Wolves.
I agree.
Yeah, because it is backward, isn't it? That's what Forest are. Reece is right, and I said it in a chat last night. Forest are backwards. It wouldn't surprise you this week that we've lost to Leeds. We probably stink it out against Wolves and draw and then beat Liverpool. That is Forest to a T. But another positive is that Gibbs White usually plays really well against Wolves, and I think he has a bit between his teeth because of how it ended there. So I'm sure he won't mind giving him another jab to the ribs and basically sending them to the Championship where they're heading anyway. But like Reece said again, Wolves aren't going to just come and roll over. We saw that last season, mate, with Southampton. In the end, we was lucky to win that game. Aina cleared it off the line in the last minute. Otherwise, we'd have drew. So they're not just going to come, roll over. They're not going to be nowhere near as bad as they was at Molineux. And if we play that bad again, they'll get a result Wednesday night. We've got to be on it, mate, because you can't take these games for granted. It's something what Elliot says, who comes on the pod. We've got to be on it Wednesday night. And a win is anything but a win. It's just non-negotiable.
And the other bonus is we haven't got a week's worth of uninterrupted training, because if that's a week on the training ground and that's a result off the back of it, as last night, we had a full week of training where we could have trained for last night properly, and that's what it. So we've got to dust ourselves down and go again. Hopefully, he doesn't get much time with him on the training ground, because it appears that we perform better when he doesn't get to lay his hands on them for too long, I think.
As well, usually after a stinker from Darts, we usually do come back, to be fair, and put on a performance. So that is something what I will say. And that's what's got to be the minimum on Wednesday.
I think for me, I'd be quite tempted to play Lucanets at left back and Nico at right back and sit Aina out, just because I don't. He's played a lot of football since he's been thrown back in, Aina, and then we've got a week then before Fenerbahce, and Lucanets isn't in the squad. So you've got 2 fullbacks basically who are going to play that game against Fenerbahce away. I'd also be tempted to play McAtee right, like you say, Reece, and put Amari Hutchinson left if Callum Hudson-Odoi is not up to it. And Odoi, I don't know what's wrong with him. I had so much hope when we signed him. Like I was like, it looks really good for Switzerland, really good for Bologna, and he's just not shown us anything. And I do think now, similar to the first season, where I feel like fans have got to kind of drag this team out of the mire with in terms of support and getting right behind the team, no matter who the manager is, no matter who the players are. And almost just kind of put that all to one side and just say, look, these players need us and they'll get us out of the situation, because they have done in the games themselves. They've dragged themselves out of it just to keep us up. Because that's
and then they're getting criticism from people higher up at the club when it is the fans who are the constant. And and you get other fans as well saying, "Oh, just get behind the team and support." Well, I think doing what Christian's doing last night, having a 10-hour round trip, and what I've done personally, I've been to every game in Europe this season. I think that's supporting the team more than most, isn't it? By paying my hard-earned money, as you guys do as well, supporting this team. There's no better support than that. What would people prefer, for there to be empty seats? Nobody. I don't think anybody goes to the game just to pay the obscene prices what English football is as a whole, just to start booing folk. We all want to go to the game and see a performance, like you guys said, get value for money and see his team win. So yeah, it probably is the fans what are going to have to drag the club out again, because this season, as we've said repeatedly on the podcast, has been a mess from top to bottom. And again, like Reece said earlier, it's not just one person it's down to. it's from top to bottom not been good enough the whole season. That's the managers, the owner, the board, the recruitment team, and the players as well. The only thing who can hold the heads up high is the fans, because week in, week out, they're selling out away ends, they're travelling in thousands to Europe, where we've got now a manager who basically, in my opinion, is happy to toss it off. So, the fans are probably going to have to drag us out. And you got to hope that, with the mess what West Ham are in off the pitch, where their fans are totally disconnected from the club, that's going to be enough. We saw it last night. Leeds got behind. The team gave them something to get behind. Elland Road was rocking, and we just fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wolves on Wednesday, I believe it is. It is Wednesday, isn't it, Reece?
Wednesday, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So Reece Coy, prediction for Wednesday. It gets so difficult.
1-0 Forest. I can't put us to lose, but 1-0 Forest.
Right, Reece Lane.
2-1 to Forest, mate. I can't see it being easy, because it's not the way to do things, is it, with Forest? But yeah, if you can't beat the bottom side at home, who have basically got 1 foot and 4 toes in the Championship already, then who just sold the star striker as well. I think they're having a bit of a fire sale, aren't they? That Arias is going. They're selling. Is it Agbadou? I think he's going. But they have brought in a few. They brought in Angel Gomez.
Adam Armstrong.
But he's a Championship striker, mate, isn't he? I'll touch Wall because he'll probably score on Wednesday. But these are Angel Gomez. I think fans got a bit carried away with that. He played a couple of times for England and looked good against, I think it was Greece and Ireland, who are not very good. Let's be honest, not very good international sides.
When he's gone to bottom of the league in the Premier League,
and he's been discarded by Marseille, who don't seem to want him. So saying that, they got rid of Saran and Dye, who are very good Premier League players.
Yeah, that's it. Wolves. I think we'll win 1-0 against Gomez FC. They can play 4 Gomez's, I think it is. So that's quite amusing. And I think they've got a few other players with the same sort of name. Bueno, I think they've got 2 of them. So that's like our Nicos, and now Luca and Luca, obviously Luca Nets. But yeah, so we could just do that. That'll be banter. Why not? Something to laugh
back
about.
in the day, they had Ebanks Blake and Nathan Blake at different times. So
wow. Fair. Right. Well, yeah, I think we'll win 1-0 because I can't predict us to lose in a game that we must win by hook or crook, which is like a bingo card special, because we say it nearly every week when we're in this sort of turmoil. But no, thank you very much for everyone that has got in touch on Facebook, got in touch on Twitter, got involved in the comments. Binnett, thank you very much for the donation. It goes a long way to helping the podcast keep running. Do like and subscribe. It's all free. Reece Coy, thank you very much for joining us. Anything to finish on the pod with?
No, it's been very cathartic, mate. You've sort of helped me out a little bit this morning. I've been struggling with my back, and I've been feeling a little bit rubbish. And I thought, what, Forrest will help me, kick me into my weekend, and did the complete opposite. So no, thanks for listening to my troubles. And as hard as it is, everyone just keep behind this team, because this is what we're listening for. This is what we do it for. Whether we like it or not, we love this club, don't we? So we've got to just
they're in my top 5 most hated, to be honest.
They're in mine as well, but I also love them with every fibre of my being, and it's painful to do, but we just got to keep on supporting, haven't we? It's cruel.
Yeah, absolutely. Reece, anything to finish on?
No, Reece is right. This is, we give us time, don't we, and spend as hard-earned money to this club, and we want it to be successful. I think you can always tell it how it is after the game. I think this podcast, whilst times folk might not agree, you've got to be honest, I think, and I think we've been honest this morning without going over the top. Personally, some fans might disagree, and some fans will like it. So yeah, it's been a nice therapy session.
Are Forest also in your top 5 hated clubs?
Yeah, it's a very love-hate relationship, isn't it? Like I've got with Gromit, and I think you always have with your partners and that, don't you, as well? So yeah, they'll be up there. Look, when we win, it's brilliant, isn't it? But when you lose, it does But try not, let it ruin your weekend. There is more to life than football at the end of the day, and just go and enjoy your weekend. And let's hope Burnley can do us a favour really later.
I was literally going to say, come on, Burnley. And that's so, I feel so sad saying it. It's like, I thought we'd put that behind us. Obviously not, because this is not a normal football club. But no, thank you very much for everyone joining us. 325 people in here. If you can drop us a like and subscribe and everything. Thank you very much for everyone that got involved on Facebook, Twitter, and in the comments, as I said earlier. Until next time, we'll be bringing you a pod probably Thursday morning or whenever we can after the Wolves game, but hopefully with something positive to talk about. Enjoy your weekends. Come on, you.